really is. I see a lot of people, and a lot of students who say, yeah, I've got a Facebook profile, and you're kind of sitting waiting there for somebody to ring you up and get, here, God, you have a Facebook profile, here's a job. It doesn't work like that. The two have to work hand in hand. There is something that you have to do if you are actively job searching, in addition to getting yourself on the social networking sites and putting your best professional profile on there. Social networking is a start, but it's never going to replace what? Talking, okay? Real life. Talking to people, telling them about what you want to do, asking them for their advice, asking them, you know, can they put you in touch with anybody, asking them what books they're reading, asking them what websites they're looking at. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through a couple of rules that I have and advice that I have for active job search. So there's this. Okay, what are we doing here? Registering with websites, getting all the newspapers, finding out what's going on. How about those, you know, how many of you have registered with jobs websites and you get these daily updates or weekly updates saying 5 new jobs in your industry today? Yeah, okay, that's being active, right? Okay, now what percentage of all available jobs are you actually hitting in that option 2?
30%.
30%. So are a lot of you here spending whatever time you are spending looking for a job in that zone of where the 30% of jobs are? So you're spending 100% of your time. This sounds like a maths lesson now, doesn't it? You're spending 100% of your time where there's 30% of the action. And what will have happened, and I speak to company owners and managing directors, and this happens the whole time. Somebody comes into their office and say, excuse me, I hear that Rosemary's leaving. Are you planning to replace her? Because my friend John, Mick, Mary has the same qualifications, looking for a job. Will I get them to send in their CV? Okay, now have you ever done that for a friend?
Yes.
Yeah, so you hear of things, you say, you know what, you should probably send your CV in here. Now, do company owners like that sort of approach from their existing staff? Yes. Yes, they do. I mean, I'm still going to go through the process of interviewing them, but I will have a much shorter group of people from which to choose rather than throwing it out and getting 500 CVs. Okay, which maybe some of you have done in the past. When you see a job advertised, you just send in a CV and hope for the best. Wouldn't it have been so much better to have been a friend of somebody in the company and be on that shortlist straight away? So how do you get yourself on that shortlist? How do you get to be a friend of somebody in Rosemary's company, hypothetically?
Volunteering for some work.
Pardon?
Volunteering for work.
Volunteering for work. Letting people know what you can do, right? And letting people know what you want to do. Because I'm not going to think of friends for Rosemary's job if I don't know what it is they want to do. They'll get, oh, I'll do anything and all this sort of stuff. Like, it's not going to process with me. So you need to be telling people what it is you want to do. Otherwise, when a vacancy comes from whatever place it's going to come from, they're not going to think of you because all they're thinking about with you is wishy-washy. I think they have a degree in business or something. I don't really know what they're doing. Okay, because you haven't made it specific. So just moving up along my triangle here. So network, contacts from existing staff, very popular. So if employers hire in this direction, how do a lot of people, the majority of people, tend to look for jobs? Top down, exactly. So why? I mean, would you all agree that the action is in the green part of the triangle? Most of the action. So why then do we focus a lot of our effort up on the pink part of the triangle?
It's easy.
It's easy, right?
There's not that much we can do about who we know.
There's not about who you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's not a huge amount you can do easily about that.
Okay, easily being the key word. Yeah, it takes a bit more work, a bit more effort, telling people about yourself, telling them what you want to do. Isn't it so much easier to just, you know, you're watching TV, scanning the websites for jobs. Oh, there's one, attach CV, send, bye-bye CV, you know. There's another one, attach CV, send, so long CV. Anybody had that experience? Yeah, okay. It is much more challenging to come up with a plan to get yourself into the green part of the triangle, which is why you're here, right? Because I'm going to tell you the plan. So some rules in order to get yourself into the green part of the triangle. Number 1, networking is not asking people for a job. Gives a job. Okay? If you ask people, got any jobs going, they will run in the other direction, or they will say something like, yeah, send me in your CV and I'll see how if I can help you with anything, all this kind of stuff. Okay, it doesn't really work. So networking, as somebody said earlier on, which is part of the whole active job search, is not asking people for a job. And if you can remember that, I don't really like the word networking because I think it conjures up images of a big room like this and everyone's standing around with a glass of wine and introducing themselves to people and telling them a bit about themselves, and people feel generally uncomfortable doing that. Okay, networking is telling as many people as you possibly can who you are, what you're good at, and what you want to do. And the more people you tell that to, the more likely it is that someone is going to know somebody, who's going to know somebody, who's going to know somebody, who's in that green part of the triangle, who needs somebody like you. Because you've told them what you want to do. And if necessary, who you are. If they don't know that, you know, through whatever means. So that's the first rule. The next rule, which I have called number 1, is no one can help you get where you want to go. Get what you want if you don't know what you want. Okay, nobody can help you get what you want if you don't know what you want. So that's the first thing. You have to figure that out. And that's a big one. I'm not belittling that. That is a big one. People will help you as soon as you know what it is you want to do. You give them a question, I wonder, could you help me with this? They'll be able to do it. Number 2, you have more contacts than you think you do. A lot of students would say to me, I don't really have any business contacts, you know, I'm not from Ireland, I don't have this, that, all that kind of stuff. There are lots of places that you can look for contacts, and I'll show you some of them in a minute. Third one, it's far easier to stay passive and reactive. Now that may look like a contradiction, but reactive means seeing an ad, I'm going to send in a CV for that, waiting for something to drop in your lap and then responding to it. It's far easier to do that than to go down this road of networking and active job search. If this was the easy option, everyone would be doing it. There would be no hidden job market. Okay? It takes a bit more guts, takes a bit more planning, takes a bit more organizing, takes a bit more, okay, deep breath, I'm going to ring this person, it's a friend of my sister's boyfriend, I'm just going to ring him, they said that I could ring him, I'm just going to ask him a question. But what it is he does, love to meet him for 10 minutes to talk about his job. Okay, you're not going to call and say, get any jobs going at your company. Okay, it's easier to do the other thing. Stay responding to the ads. You and everybody else. Chances are, you know, the success rate is a lot lower.